Welcome back to Weekly EP. My name is Cody Swanson. Each episode we have on guest musicians from all over the world in different genres who premiere a brand new 10 to 20 minute album written and recorded in just 7 days. And then we talk about it. If you're interested in doing your own weekly EP, get in touch at weeklyep@gmail.com or on Instagram. I also want to take a quick moment to tell you guys about another music podcast that I like called Bad Songwriter Podcast. It's hosted by musician Anna Holmquist, who I'm excited to say will also be on this show in the near future. But yeah, you can kind of think of her podcast as a cross between Song Exploder and Mortified. Each episode features a different songwriter who brings a few of their worst and most embarrassing old recordings to listen to and laugh about. They use this as a way to talk about the songwriting process, musical backstories, and growth. So far, guests have included Namdi, Diana Coffey, Julia Steiner of Rat Boys, etc., etc. I think that it's a really fun concept for a podcast, and though it's generally a light and fun tone, these kinds of discussions are important to understand artistic progress. Sometimes the best thing you can do is go back and realize how far you've come. Oh, and one final other order of business, I wanted to give a shout out to Angie from Toulouse. Angie has been very supportive of all the photos of my kitten that I posted this week. So to Angie and the others who have reached out about Walrus, I am super glad that you enjoyed it. There will be more down the line, but to anyone else who prefers dogs or doesn't really care about cat photos on a music podcast page, I promise not to go nuts. Alrighty, now back to our regularly scheduled program. This is episode 17 with Giovanni Fiderio. God, I know I pronounced that wrong. I'm sorry, Giovanni. From Syracuse, Italy. We talk about finding old keyboards, using drum patterns as improvisation inspiration, and how sometimes restrictions brought on by global issues can transform one space into another. As always, we'll do a short interview intro, listen to the new record, and then dive into the creative process. First, here's a taste of that record.
Okay, check. Okay, ready.
Welcome, and thank you for doing this.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Cody, for inviting me.
The first basic question so people can get to know you a little bit. What is your name?
Yeah, my name, like as a person, my name is Giovanni Fiderio, and the artist name that I choose for this EP is Gonghi. And actually, it comes from my little niece, which is 1 year and a half. Yeah, even a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't say my name at the beginning. She could say other people like Papa, Mama, Mari, other people. And then suddenly, exactly in the days of the quarantine and the half of March or something like this, she started calling me Gonghi, which is like, or Zio Gonghi, Uncle Gonghi, which is like the word that she pronounced when she pretend to play some instruments or when she does any sound, like even if she presses like piano keyboards, she says Gonghi, Gonghi, Gonghi.
Oh.
So I think she connected me in general with sound, and I thought it was cool.
That's a great way to get a name.
Yes, I felt like you said, hey, you got it right.
Where did you record this record?
This record was made inside the bookshop here where I work in Syracuse, in Sicily. And I recorded it when it started the lockdown period. And because we live close to the bookshop, we were just coming every day, like to check up things or do stuff inside. I was setting up stuff already the first days. And then I was starting playing some experimental thing with the keyboards I had. Yeah, at the end, everything was recorded here inside the bookshop.
Okay, that's awesome. It's great to have a space like that. I mean, it's a bummer that it was closed, but it's neat that you can kind of use that as like a studio away from home in a time
Exactly.
like that.
That was a nice thing that I never thought, because the bookshop is also like a structure made by stone with high ceilings. So there is a nice reverb or nice acoustic inside the bookshop also, because it's like the books on the walls absorb a little bit. So I was also playing the violin and the viola like as acoustic instruments inside. And then I could record also some other tracks later inside the bookshop, because no car were passing through the street.
Right.
So it
Yeah.
was totally quiet. I couldn't finish some of the track because then it reopened. But yeah, I played some stuff with the violin and the viola because it was absolutely silent.
That's cool. And why did you decide to do one, or why did you want to do a weekly EP?
Well, I was already starting doing some experiment, because I had these two keyboards that I got different periods. One found in a bazaar, let's say in Coney Island, in New York. Once I went visiting some friends, and another one in a flea market in Catania. The same period. When I came back from New York, I found this other one in Catania, and they are pretty similar. They have some different function, but one is more like a sampling keyboard. There's a really small sample that you can do like 1 second or something, but then you can modify it or reverse and play it through the keys. And then the other one. So I wanted to use it because since I bought it, I just tried the sound and never played it. So I brought those two keyboards for first and started using some pedals and modifying a little bit the sound and doing some experiments. When you asked if I wanted to take part to this, I thought it was perfect to have a finalization, like to close up the songs that I was doing. Also because all the parameters and knobs and things were going out of control. So I said, okay, it must be quick. It must be in 1 week. So I just quickly replay the ideas and then record it right away.
So these are kind of experiments compared to maybe some of the stuff that you'd play in your band that you play in normally.
Basically, yeah, it's the first time that I do 100% electronic sounds and things like that. I usually, work more on my violin, and recently also I started playing more and more the viola. I don't know how to define it. It's electronic music, basically, played through those keyboards and some effects. Or actually, just one effect. I had the Memory Man as a present for my last birthday, and then I said, okay, it was sounded perfect to me to give a little reverb, because the sound of the keyboard was really dry to me. So I said, okay.
Okay, then the last question before we jump into the record is the silly question, which is, what would your perfect mac and cheese be, or your perfect noodles and cheese dish?
With some, I don't know, chicken nuggets, I think.
In the
Does it
mac and
make
cheese?
does it make sense?
So mac and cheese with chicken nuggets in it.
Or maybe with some maybe with some pepperoni, let's say. That would be good.
That sounds good, yeah. Okay, so what's the name of the record?
Well, this thing, I didn't set it up yet. I thought at the beginning it could be unsubordinate and childish, but then I thought that I didn't feel that it was a good title, so I'm still a little bit unsure. I have the title of the songs, but not the one of the record. So at the moment I called like a self-titled Gonghi album.
Okay, so this is, for now, Gonghi self-titled. And we are back. So to start off, I would like to talk more a bit about the instruments. And you mentioned already a little bit that you were using two Casio keyboards. What was the process of that?
Okay, I started with this monophonic Casio that is called Casio PT80, and started playing a little bit around. Immediately, this setup of passing the sound of the Casio through the Memory Man, which is a Memory Man echo, chorus, and vibrato. The other two songs were with this other one. One is white and one is black. So the black Casio is called Casio SK10, and it's a sampling keyboard. You can do just a little sample and then reverse it and have a little effect on it, but very simple. And this I used this Casio to make a thunder in the song that is called Pioggia and Tuoni, which is in Italian. The translation is rain and thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Like to record the sound of squeezing a plastic bottle and having a little sample and then reverse it. I was surprised how it came out. So I did this song, which was like dancing in the rain, revised. And yes, these two keyboards are pretty simple. One, the sampling keyboard, the SK10, doesn't even have the output. So I just put exactly. I just put a Shure, a microphone SM58 on the speaker, like on top of the speaker, and that made a good sound, but very dry. So then I worked out a little bit. And then basically it was that the two keyboard through the Memory Man, and then I didn't have any sound card here at the bookshop or multi-track thing. I just had a mixer and a stereo that I used to play the violin or play music through the computer. And basically I was playing everything through this stereo and recording the sound directly from the speakers into the Zoom H4n, which is a digital recorder that I have. It was actually stereo of the frequencies because I put it in front of one speaker, and the two microphones are one slightly higher than the other one. So even if I was putting in the middle, one microphone was more into the high frequencies and the other one was more into the low frequencies. And then and it was pretty difficult sometimes to mix it also because a nice friend of mine that mixed it a little bit and mastered the tracks. That is called Sasha Tilot. And then I made him a little crazy at the beginning because he said, how did you record exactly the thing? And then I was trying to explain him that it was this thing. And then, so those two keyboard, Memory Man and the Zoom, this Zoom H4n to record.
That's amazing. Okay, so you mic'd the SK10 and then ran that through the speakers and then recorded the speakers with the H4n. Was the process that you would record all these different sounds and elements like the drums and the synth parts, and then later you would put them together on a computer, or did you play those live? How did that work?
Oh yeah, I played live. Yes, I did like that. In the keyboard, there are different buttons for rhythms. Like for example, in the PT80, there is rock, disco, 16 beats, bossa nova, began. And actually, it was interesting to me to see that like those rhythmic patterns are like classical pattern. I don't know, for dancing or, for example, tango or bossa nova or began or samba. And they were changing with the echo because with the delay, it changed a little bit. And then I was also sometimes stopping the rhythms and leaving the sounds decay, like, and then start again. Not all the instruments sounded good. Like, for example, I think the flute effect I didn't like. So the clarinet I didn't, but the organ was good. The celesta, which is in the song oltre, called Oltre la cintura di asteroidi, It
Mm-hmm.
makes this
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In my notes, I have that written as like a. It sounds like a bent synth note. This kind of like.
exactly. I think exactly it's a blinky sound, and also with accompaniment, because sometimes the bass notes that you can hear in the song are made by the accompaniment. When you start like pressing the button G minor 7, there is this little part of the keyboard with the notes of the accompaniment, and follow the rhythm, and makes also some strange counter time thing, yeah, with the delay that I couldn't control like very perfectly. But yeah, it was interesting. It sometimes sounded out of time, but I thought, come on, it's a machine, it must be on time. But okay.
Okay, interesting. Well, that's cool. Yeah, that's kind of a. It's like sort of an analog way of doing electronic music then. All right. Well, yeah, let's run through the songs a little bit. So you're going to have to help me pronounce the first one, track one.
What was oltre la fascia di asteroidi?
Yes.
Is that okay?
What does that mean in English?
It means over the asteroids belt.
Oh, okay. Nice.
It was like, yeah, because it gave me like this image of space, or probably was my desire of escaping the situation. I don't know. It was the week that I recorded this thing. This song was exactly the week that was more heavy to stay here, and I don't know, very isolated, because everybody was home and everything was
Yeah.
quiet and the streets were empty, and I was fully immersed in it, like also as a way to escape the situation. So that one, it is the first song that I did, and yeah, that's with, I think it's a tango with a delay, and sometimes there
Cool.
is some part of march, like when it makes ta 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 ta, and then starts again. The melody, yeah, was the celesta, I think, with some piano or harpsichord as well. It's similar also in the other song called The Infinite Trip.
Mm.
It's on the same keyboard, and as well starts with sounds and atmosphere, and then later comes the bass. And I didn't know the order actually. I gave you, it was the first is oltre la fascia di asteroidi,
Yeah.
and then the second one is pioggia e tuoni.
And that's the one. That's the one where I definitely knew that you were using Casio keyboards. The drum sounds are just so recognizable.
Mhm. Yeah, I think also, yeah, this Casio, the sound is even more dry. I like a little more the other one, but yeah, after with the editing, I don't know, it sounded good. When I gave him the song to Sasha, I said, okay, these two are with this keyboard and these other two are with the black one, and you should do some more work because it's sounded more dry, and I don't know, yeah.
I mean, yeah, those keyboards, I think they were never really intended to do proper music.
Yeah.
I mean, plenty of people figure out ways to make it happen, but I don't think that when Casio made those keyboards, they thought they would be around for. I mean, some of those now are almost 40 years old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's an interesting challenge though, because sometimes the sounds that you hear amplified, they sound good. I like the feeling of mixing it and using as a source of sound and to express something original. It was like my challenge for this record, let's say.
Yeah, and then so track 4, Reclamation, has a really nice organ sound in there.
This one is with the same Casio, but the organ sounds really, really good. I think it's the best of the 1, 2, 3, 7 sounds that it has. Sounds really, I don't know, warm as well, even louder than the beat, actually. I shaped a little bit that melody, trying to keep it as simple as I could, but with the right notes. And then for the second part, I did the reverse. Let's say I played the melody that I was playing at the beginning, but inverting the notes. It was like a quick way to get a second part of the song, but it sounds good. In fact, there is a moment that you can hear like click of the switch because the microphone was close to the speaker. And then, yeah, it was a pretty simple way of composing this song.
Okay, cool. And so song one was the first one you did. What did the week look like in terms of when you start a song, you kind of see it all the way through until you're finished? Or did you start working on a bunch of different parts for different songs and then they kind of came together? Like, how does that work?
No, it was working. Yeah, at the beginning, I was playing like the two keyboards just to get an idea what kind of sounds I could get or what were the instruments that I liked, the effects or the rhythms. Let's say this four song I did in 4 days. Like the first day I did Oltre la cintura di asteroidi, and then I played it, let's say, for I don't know 1 hour or 2 hours. I was playing around trying to get different parts, and then when it was fixed, I tried some take, let's say, and it was not always working at the first time. And then I did more take until I get the one that was good to me. And then basically after that, I was stopping for that day playing and doing something else. And then on the second day, I did the second song, which was The Infinite Trip. And then I started with the other. Third day, I did Reclamation and then pioggia, tuoni. And so basically, I recorded the four track in 4 days. At the beginning, when it starts the lockdown here, and I recognized that I couldn't do almost anything because I couldn't teach the violin and the school was stopped. So basically, I said, okay, this is the moment that I need to create something or to spend some time with the music. And so it was surprised that the first 4 days I was getting four tracks, let's say. After this, I had a break because I was a little bit full of it, let's say. And I was listening to it back on the headphones and then on the stereo. And then I sent those tracks to Sasha. I had this desire to share with somebody. So I said, okay, that could be also a nice moment. Probably he also has sometimes or likes to work at home with material that I've done. So I called him and I sent him the tracks, and then of course having time for telling some stories or just spend time together on the phone. And then I gave him some feedback. Let's do like this. Let's do like that. He was suggesting some solution or giving more sound here or more bass there, and we were like figuring out what was the best balance. And then I sent him first the two tracks of one keyboard and then the other two tracks so that he could keep the same, more or less, let's say, the same settings for one keyboard and then another one. And then at the end, I put them together. So this is at the 2 days more. And then the last one, I listened everything together and made a track list. And basically, I didn't do anything else after Sasha gave me the material back. It was already good like that.
Nice. That sounds like a pretty solid week then. Looking back on the record, having like listened to it again after finishing it, what are your thoughts or reflections on the experience and on the record itself?
I appreciated doing that work. I decided to do it, and it's a nice experience. It has been very nice, and I don't know actually. If I'm gonna repeat it with those keyboards, so it's gonna stay something special, at least for a while. Probably I'm gonna take it also as a pioneer or beginning of an experience or I could use also those songs for some other things, for example, theater or dance project. Sometimes, it happens that people ask
Yeah.
me to create some stuff for video, for some movies or dance performances. And it was the first time that I was working with the rhythm, producing a rhythm. Usually it's the drummer of the band that does it in my experience.
Right.
It helps a lot. When you have the rhythm, I felt pretty to improvise stuff came natural to me. So I thought it might be a start of some new approach. I want to produce some other material. It's mainly a question of time, as usual. If I
Yeah.
will make it again, or if I could do it again. But I like it a lot. Also, when I played sometimes for some friends when the bookshop opened again. Also because in Italy the bookshop were the first that were allowed to open again.
Oh,
So
really?
okay, the supermarket of course were open, and then some
Yeah.
shop for primary necessity. But then we opened again, so there were some friends and say, okay, now we are all coming to you, right? And of course I said, no guys, this is not gonna work like this. And but yes, when some people came and said, hey, I did this, look at this, listen, everybody was like, wow, interesting. And I feel pretty happy with this. I think I'm gonna have a full album with some other song mixing the violin and the viola.
Nice. And now you can always go to the bookshop at night when it's closed and play some music.
Yeah, yeah, I can do it. Unfortunately, the street here is pretty busy. It must be real like deep night. This makes this EP, this record special because it's in a special place, also place that I like. I like to spend time in here. So I felt home. Basically, it was a good thing actually to keep up the humor, having the opportunity of getting out of the apartment and coming here. Sometimes the police found me on the street going back home or going to the bookshop and saying, "What are you doing?" Said, I'm just getting home. But from where? From the bookshop. Oh, because you work. And no, I'm not working. No, I'm just doing things inside. And okay, but then get on. Okay, I'm doing. Where do you live? Here, just here, close. Okay, because of course the first days nobody could stay out, so it was just
Yeah, yeah.
it's on the parallel street. So I did like a minute walk and I was there.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that those times are, for now at least, over.
Yes, no,
You
yeah.
know, things are a little bit more normal, and hopefully soon again we will get some form of live concert and live music and art.
I was thinking how many nice things must come out after this period, because probably as I did, also other people found the opportunity to record something or to paint or to write or to get deeply into something that they wanted to do, or they were wondering to find the time to do it, and finally they could. So probably that must be beautiful art coming out soon. I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I think there probably will be. I think you're right about that.
You are helping actually in this process, because it has been. I'm really thankful that you invited me, because it of course it's a target. It's a stimulation. I felt really happy that I could present the stuff I did here at the weekly EP podcast, and so it's a good thing.
Yeah, man, I'm really glad that you did it as well. Thank you so much. And how can people find more of your music or art stuff online, or I guess right now only online, but
Yeah, I'm uploading all the song in Bandcamp, and it's gonna be the Gonghi page that you have to look.
What's the name of your band? So if people want to look that up too, they can.
One band is called Tapso, Tapso, Tapso second with the Roman number, and it's a trio: violin, guitar, and voice, and drums. And the other one is a 5-pieces band that is called Mashrooms, Mashrooms, and both are on Bandcamp and on Spotify.
Cool, man. I'm really glad that you submitted such an interesting record. I think it's such a cool story of how it was made as well.
When you put it out, I will complete the uploading, so I have time to think.
Yeah. The title or whatever.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, see you soon.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Weekly EP. Once again, my name is Cody Swanson. I hope that you enjoyed this week's album and interview. Giovanni once again used an interesting recording technique here, and I'm all for that sort of thing. I had a great time talking about Casio keyboards as well, and I don't know a ton of details about them, but I could talk about Casio keyboards all day long. Please check out more of Giovanni's music and music projects. Later this week, his Gonghi page will be live with this new record, but he's also in 2 other bands that are totally worth checking out. First, we have Tapso with Roman numeral 2, so that's Tapso the second, a 3-piece band from Catania, Sicily, in Italy. Go to tapso.bandcamp.com. And then there's also Mashrooms from Syracuse, Sicily. Check them out at mashrooms.bandcamp.com. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and rate it wherever you listen to podcasts. It really helps. Also, follow us on Instagram. You can find all the episodes and more on our website, weeklyep.com. And if you or someone that you know would like to do your own weekly EP, please get in touch. We would love to hear from you.